if I'm doing a math equation, okay, Paul Pierce, Kenny Thomas greater than sign Paul Pierce.
Agreed.
Like, fine, Paul, you're the truth and all that, but we need our canine on the broadcast.
We need the hard hats.
And I personally think that's why we lost.
Yeah.
Right now, as he does every week. Kenny Thomas, what's up, man? You let him boot you like that? What's the deal with that? It's Paul Pierce. It's not, Jesus.
See, what's up, Jason? This guy already starting to go in already.
I got your back.
It was a compliment.
It's a compliment.
See, I appreciate. See, Dave, you didn't let me finish.
Excuse me.
I had to make you laugh, Dave. You know what I'm saying? But no, man. I did 4 games, that 4-game road stretch, and then me and Matt rotate. So it was Matt's turn, and Matt was able to bring in Paul.
Oh, very cool.
Come in on the show. Yeah, that's kind of how that worked. I saw the show last night.
Okay.
You had a unique, just on the TV side of things the other day, Kenny, where you were in studio. Kyle had car issue? You had to. That had to be a little bit of a unique show for you.
Yeah, it actually was, because last year there was a situation to where I had to step in. I was out of town, and I was actually on the opposite side of that. I was on the Zoom, like Kyle was on the Zoom this time, and it really was awkward in the studio, not having somebody to my right. And next thing you know, it was like audio issues and different things, but things were cutting out. It ended up being good with all the things that actually happened. So it was actually a pretty good show.
Could you actually see Kyle?
Yeah, it was weird, because I was actually, just like I'm looking at you guys right now, he was like right there, but I had to remember to look to the right to where I was actually looking at the actual screen. So that it was a little weird for me, because I haven't done that one yet.
Well, go ahead.
No, I was going to say too. I know this is something when we're in studio doing the radio in the pregame. We watch you guys, but I can't hear you because we're talking at the same time. But they flash back to some prediction you had the other day. I don't know what that was. What is something that you nearly call perfectly or something? What was that?
I was close. Yeah, I was. Once again, I had that 4-game road trip that they were on, and I predicted the first game that they were gonna sweep the road trip.
Oh,
so
okay.
That's where the 3-0 came in, and then I was 1 game away, man. That's why Kyle was giving me crap, because he don't like it. He doesn't like it when I'm right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Wow, he doesn't like things a lot then.
You already see. That's why you my guy, Dave. We should bring in Kyle on one of these Wednesdays.
We should.
You guys have him on.
Yeah, I think we can do that. Well, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
We could do that. I would say, because when Kyle was home and he had to do that thing, and obviously things happen. Things happen to all of us, right? Like, no doubt, things happen all the time, and you got to do what you got to do. And I thought I thought you both actually did a really good job, and that's understanding a lot of what you were dealing with behind the scenes. A lot of people don't. You guys were dealing with a lot of crap behind the scenes. Technically, I thought you did a great job. I think my only question is this: Kyle couldn't get a suit on? I mean, what's going on? Right? Yeah, you can't throw a suit on?
Yeah, man. He was at the crib chilling. Like, I don't blame him. Like, that's probably something I would have did. When I did mine, I think I only had a polo on, Dave, to be honest. Because
wait, when you say you only had a polo on, you mean you were wearing pants, right? Okay, all right. Well, oh no! What?
He cut out at the wrong time. There he is.
Kenny, you cut out.
What is this? Do not disturb thing comes up, man. Man, I guess I'm not tech savvy, man. This crap sucks. The do not disturb is on, and how can somebody call me?
I don't know. I was just giving my dad technical advice on the iPhone yesterday. I'll call you. So just to recap, I was making a funny joke when you said I just had a polo on.
Don't call me again, Josh.
And I said, Kenny, please tell me you were wearing more than just a polo, and then you cut out. So
no, I was wearing just a polo, man. I was on the road doing something. I think I was in Arizona.
Yeah,
and then they asked me to fill in. Come on. I'm supposed to go buy a sports coat.
No, but my point is, you were wearing pants, right? You weren't just wearing a polo, is what I'm saying.
I don't know. I might have just been in a polo, bro. It might have been no, to be honest, I was sitting in a chair. I might have had some briefs on too.
There you go. There you go.
Jason.
So Kenny, one thing we were talking about earlier is, look, the Kings are doing some great things. And is this just a difference of, I don't know how else to say it, but levels? Like Boston, Milwaukee, Philly, the teams they've had a ton of trouble with that have outplayed them just seem to be better. It almost seems like it's that simple, that they're a level higher, though the Kings have reached a level that's pretty significant. How do the Kings in the future get to maybe what that level is of Milwaukee, of Philly, of Brooklyn, not Brooklyn, of Boston? Do they just need more reps, more time, or some other personnel over time?
Well, you got to keep in mind the Kings are young, and people don't realize that this is their first full year playing together, right? And what they've accomplished so far is unbelievable, and it's actually amazing to me because I'm able to see a lot of different things, like how they were and how they are this year. I think the Kings are they're basically right there. In that Milwaukee game, they played a great 3 first quarters, right? But now it comes down to actually closing out games. And just like last night, the Boston game, it was a good game. Boston's a good team, and Boston's been struggling a little bit because they've blown some leads. But I think the Kings were getting great shots last night. They just weren't able to knock them down, man. And especially playing at home, the crowd was kind of in it, but the crowd wasn't fully in it from what I saw on TV.
Now, Kenny, is there also something, and again, there's a lot of new experiences for Kings fans this year, especially the younger ones. Is there also something to, every year over the last 16 years when the Kings have been failures, every year there's a handful of like, oh my God, we beat the defending champion. Wow, we shocked this team on the road. Yeah. Does a lot of that change now because the Kings are the hunted instead of the hunters, and other teams get up for the competition against Sacramento?
Yeah, that does change, because keep in mind, when I was here, when I came from Philly and I was playing at Arco, it was still rocking, even though people were kind of pissed off because of the situation with the Chris Webber trade. But I think me, Corliss, and Brian Skinner, the 3 of us came in and we kind of filled in that void to a certain extent and kept it kind of going, right? To where I think that there was a lot of situations to where at that time it was great basketball, and right now the Kings are showing that they're getting back into that same situation as far as like getting the fans back in it and bringing that whole winning environment back to Sacramento, because the last 15, 16 years or something like that, just with the drought, there hasn't been any talk about Sacramento. And then at the same time, those things are kind of expected to happen, especially when you're in a rebuilding stage. And I think there's a lot of different things going on with the organization at the time. And I think they put all the pieces together.
Kenny, when you played, I know every player's a little bit different with this. Some players probably followed every game all the time. Others maybe just didn't even bother. I know you guys do magic numbers on the show. We do it as well. The Kings are so close to clinching that spot. How aware were you of what the standings look like on a day-to-day basis when you played?
I wasn't. I don't think. I think we kind of knew where we were being on when I was on the Kings. I think we kind of knew where we were. And then once it gets closer to that point of getting to the playoffs, whenever that mark was, with whichever coach I had, because keep in mind I had 10 coaches in 11 years and I had 5 here in Sacramento. And I think it's a totally different situation, especially now because of the drought, once again, that the Kings have been in, to where it's like highlighted even more. It's not normal. I think it was normal back in the day for the Kings to always be in the playoffs, right? So I think that had a big piece of it. And I think the whole initiative and the culture has changed now, because it's like next year, it's like, how is it going to be? It's going to be like you can't fall anything shorter of actual playoff team instead of playing for a play-in spot.
Can the Kings win a championship with this roster someday if they all played together and no major injuries? Or we were discussing this earlier in the show, Kenny. It's okay to, break the playoff streak. It's everything's house money after that. You want them to do great, but we both kind of agreed this is not a championship team yet. My question to you is, can this roster win a championship someday, or do you believe they need to make some tweaks?
I feel like that they are a team that can go to the Western Conference this year. And then I think after that, it's like, let's see what happens, right? But you got to remember, the Kings have no experience when it comes to the playoffs.
Right.
And there are teams that are in the Western Conference, like the Golden State Warriors, that are making a push. The Lakers, you don't really know what's going on with them, right? I do not want to see the Warriors. I just don't, because they're a dangerous team from a standpoint of playoff experience. I think if anything that's going to hold the Kings back is going to be that experience in the playoffs. But at the same time, this is where Mike Brown's going to come in. This is where Doug Christie's going to come in, because those guys have actually been there, and Doug Christie's been there as a player. So I feel like they got a lot of pieces, and I'm pretty sure the organization probably feels like there probably are a couple other pieces, because I just saw something on Instagram about
we don't have the audio. I don't have the screen. Did the screen cut out too? Okay. Which
that had nothing to do with me.
Okay.
It was on your end.
What you said? Well, once again, it's bad timing because you cut off right after you said I saw something on Instagram.
Monty, I saw something that he was going over to see a kid overseas.
Sasha Vezenkov. Yeah, they have the draft rights to him. And I think that's going to wrap it up. Go ahead and we'll close out the studio there. That's the Kenny Thomas hour, but not really an hour, more like 12 minutes. That's all on our end. We're having technical difficulties. We do love Kenny so very, very much.
Man, this weather's been bad too.
Oh,
man.
There he is.
Yeah. Well, it's not me. Okay, so what I saw on Instagram is that Monty was going over to watch a kid that's kind of a shooter, like a 4. I saw that. So they're doing certain things to get ready for next year, which is nice to be able to see, because the way the Kings are going, man, they're flowing and they're hot right now, and they're a hot topic, which I really like.
Just like you, baby. Yeah, they're flowing and they're hot. Kenny Thomas.
Man, UCLA, let's go.
Yes.
Got him in the bracket. Kenny, we'll talk to you in a week. Thanks as always, brother.
Thanks, man. Sorry about that. It wasn't my fault. That first one was, though. Appreciate you guys.
Thanks, Kenny. That's Kenny Thomas joining us. We're way late for a break. By the way, that was Sasha Vezenkov, who had the rights to.
A lot of high hopes for him.
EuroLeague, was it EuroLeague MVP, something MVP? Yeah, there are a lot of high hopes for him as well. We'll take a break. When we come back, hey, who's saying what about the Kings? What? We got others, whether it's Paul Pierce, whether it's Zach Lowe, some kind things